Righteousness. Want this, want that. If you're running, you want to run faster. If you're jumping, you want to jump higher. If you're selling, you want to sell more. If you're singing, you want to sing a better tune. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. You want to do it better. And the beautiful part of this is you can. You see, I have practiced all 30 rules for losing. I know them well. None of them work. They'll never give us what we want. But I have spent many, many years on the 13 principles of success that have helped millions of people earn millions of dollars. And you see, the one criteria is it doesn't matter where you're at right now. If you are very successful, you can become more successful because you have infinite potential. No one can even guess at what you and I are capable of doing. If you've been failing miserably up till now, that doesn't matter. Let the dead bury the dead. We let the past go. And we just focus on who we are, where we are, and what we're going to do. These 13 principles all come together like a beautiful mosaic. Now, although I will explain each one, I don't think you can talk about one without the other. We're getting into ideas like desire, decision, the sixth sense, organized planning. All these ideas are so important, and when you first look at it, it may seem overwhelming. How would I ever be able to do this? It isn't even difficult. We're going to give you a path, and you get on that path, you're going to have an absolutely phenomenal future. The future will be beautiful. Oh, you'll have some problems. We all do. I still have, and I've been working at this.
Okay, so being a trader can really suck at times, especially if you're losing a lot of money or trade after.
Did that guy say if you're losing? No, son, you're a loser. We're IML, we don't lose. Let's get some music going. Let's get this day started. Set my big glasses.
Papa twist cabbage off instinct. Niggas don't think shit stink. Pink gators. My Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right. If the head right, Biggie there. Air night. Papa been smooth since days of underoos. Never lose. Never choose to. Bruise, cruise who? Do something to us. Talk, go through us. Girls want to us. Wanna do us. Screw us. Who us? Yeah, Papa and Puff. Close like Starsky and Hutch. Stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3, bang every MC easily. Easily. Recently, niggas frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace, keep my peace. Cubans with the Jesus peace, with my peace, packing.
All right. Wake up, world. This is our time. This is our markets live. This is Sunday morning. I know some of you went to church already, but you're in my church now. It's time to learn. It's time to make money. Wake up. Clear all the spider webs out of your head. That's it. It's time. Preach, Christopher. Let me tell you something. I'm in Las Vegas, and the weather's getting nicer. Thus, it brings out the bugs. I can't even make this up. Where's my ammunition? So I have one of the air conditioning units in the bedroom. It doesn't work, so they ordered the part for me. And as you can imagine, being 100 degrees, and it can get a little stuffy. So I opened the window, no problem. I opened it yesterday night. So last night I come inside the apartment. Take a look at me. I'm down 10 pounds in a little over a week. I'm exercising, eating right, low sodium, low carbs. So I come inside and I'm getting ready for bed. And I see this moth, little moth flying around. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm trying to talk to the moth. Moth, can you leave? Can you go out the window? Moth is like giving me the finger. I'm like, okay, Mr. Moth, it's war. So I grabbed my in-room dining menu and I had a conversation with the moth because the panel of education had to come talk to him. So I'm like swinging at the moth. Then there was two. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm going after one and the other one's hitting me in the head. And I was like, that's it. I'm from the streets of the Bronx. I'm as a kid, I'm ready to roll with the moth. You want to come at me? This is a good story. Don't worry, I got more. So I'm like swinging my thing at the moth. The other one's attacking me. I'm swishing it. Finally, one of them takes off into the other room, into a closet. And I cornered him. He's got to go, right? R.I.P. moth. So I come back in looking for the other one. Now I'm like a crazed fanatic because now it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm having a moth fight. Moth, the little butterflies. So I go to get him and he flies into the bathroom. I'm like, I got him. So I close the bathroom door. I turn the lights on. There's like 50 moths. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Next thing you know, they're attacking me. I'm like little airplanes chasing me around. And I'm like, I brought the spray. I'm like, kill the freaking moths. I gotta kill the moths. Right? Couldn't breathe. Because now I'm in this room. I should have shot them with. I'm like committing suicide over here. Holy crap. Remove my lungs while giving the story. Anyway, so now I have lavender flavored scented moths flying around my bathroom. And, I think that must be a dead moth body. I had 2 of these. I turned into Bruce Lee from like a 1975 Enter the Dragon film. I'm like killing moths, chasing around. At the end of the story, we won Moth Wars 2019. I'm good. I'm slipping on the bathroom floor. Okay, I got myself washed my face. I went to sleep. I lay in my pillow. I'm good. I looked around, right? I lay in my pillow and I hear. I turn the light on. There's a moth sitting on my pillow, looking at me like you gotta be kidding me. And I can't even lie about this. I grabbed my little booklet, right? I grabbed my towel, and I'm like, yo, let's go. The moth flew off my pillow and hit me directly in the center of the head. Boom! And I'm like, I just became a cartoon at some point. I went to hit the moth, I hit myself in the head. Next thing you know, I'm on the floor, like fighting with the moth. Got him. I won. Moth Wars 2019. How was This is our house. This is iMarkets Live. This is where you get your freedom. This is where you learn to be very wealthy, not rich, not making some money. This is where you learn how to be wealthy. So if you take the principles of what we do each and every week on the markets and you apply them, you can make fortunes. I'm not guaranteeing it because I don't want to hear the one person message me on Instagram. You said I was going to get rich. I didn't say you're going to get rich. I'm not guaranteeing it. If you do what I do and you manage your money properly, yes, you can create wealth. Believe me, if a guy from the Bronx who is beating the moths in the bathroom, seriously, if I could do it, you could do it. Anybody in the world can do this. I don't care if you're 18 or 80 or blind, crippled, or crazy. I don't care who you are. You can do this. You can do anything you want to. You have to believe in yourself, believe in you, believe in everything around you. Just have this total focus of pure energy of success. No doubt in your mind that you're going to fail. If you have any doubt in your mind you're going to fail, get out of here. Look, I wanted water. I asked for water. Well, I didn't ask for it. I asked the machine. Turn the machine on. Give me water. I got water. I didn't get lemonade. I didn't get iced tea. I got water. Because I asked for it, I want it, I demand it, I command it, and that's the way you have to be for success. For anything in this world to be a success, you got to believe totally in every aspect of what you're thinking. What you're thinking. Napoleon Hill said, if the mind can believe and conceive, the mind can achieve. And I never understood that until I realized if that's all you think about, that's what you will get. For many years, for my whole life, all I thought about, I wake up in the morning, and I'm not going to lie about this. I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, okay, where am I going to dinner tonight? Where am I going to have lunch today? And that was what I thought. I called myself Biggie, nickname Biggie, Biggie Smalls, right? I figured I'm heavy. I might as well just earn it, own it, feel it. And I got into this rhetoric that I got to eat all day. I got to eat. I got to, and I've changed that. I've worked so hard to change that, and I'm working so hard. Right now, 205.5 pounds. 3 years ago, 285 pounds. By next weekend at the event in Houston, Texas. Do not miss that event in Houston, Texas. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. If you don't got your tickets, I'm going to tell you where you can get your tickets right now. Wow, man, we got a lot of people on with us this morning, a lot of excitement going on. And for those wondering, what's this guy talking about? You're right. What is he talking about? So let me show you. Let me show you. It's called IML Take Flight. Next weekend, Houston, Texas, you need to be there. You need to be in Houston, Texas next weekend. You got David Immunity, Alex Warren, Yvonne Tapia, Christopher Terry, Jason Brown, Matt Rosa, Dr. Spiller, all the great leaders, all the big leaders in IML. This right here is going to lead us to the promised land, to Dallas, Texas in September. And we have a guest, which I'm working out right now, one of the most respected, well-renowned speakers in the planet, potentially partnering up with us to speak in Dallas, Texas. So we're working on that. I got some major things in the pipeline, but let everybody know I love you guys. Don't miss next weekend. Don't miss Houston, Texas. If you say, well, it's too late, the flights are too expensive, you're right, they're too expensive. I'm not going to say some of the things I used to say. All I'm going to say is get your tickets, all right? Be there. I was in an event in New York, and I said something. If you don't do such and such, stay broke. Somebody literally ran out the door to all the people out there saying, Chris Terry said, if you don't get inside the event, you're going to be broke. Okay, so anyway, let me get off with the rant. Welcome to the Morning Mastery. We used to call it Night Owl, now it's Morning Mastery, and let's get this day started. Okay, look in here. This is the ES1, the S&P 500. You can trade this at what they call the SPX, the SP 500. Some people trade the US 30. Pretty much it's all the same thing, and I'll look at that. But this is overall a market barometer. The market, the S&P 500 is a barometer for the whole entire stock market. Pretty much is telling us what the economy is doing also. We can see the market has had amazing growth over the several years. Gosh, since 2009, the market has been creeping and creeping up. Got to thank Mr. Obama for getting us there, right? And Donald Trump, I guess, he's just riding the coattails of it. But, and I have no political affiliation. I can care less. I just spout whatever comes to my mind. But this market, one day down, just continues to stay strong. I don't particularly see any topping pattern any ending to this. This is the all-time highs right up in here. And the market, as you can see, is very close to it again. So it hit it, it backed off, normal rejection, and it's trying up again. Every time the market pulls back a day, 2 days, it just goes. And I think the US stock market is going to stay strong for now. And I'm not thinking of any topping pattern. I'm not thinking of any reversal. I'm not thinking of selling the market up at the highs. Because quite honestly, until it happens, there's no reason to think about it. So I would basically look at the US stock market and just sit back and you're not going to start investing now, all right? And you don't want to buy the market up here. You also don't want to sell it. So kind of like you have to wait. If you see any kind of retracement, if you trade the S&P 500 index, maybe this week you get yourself a pullback down somewhere, give you an opportunity to buy. But other than that, I don't see so much. All I see is pure strength. And those are the hardest types of markets to fight, to trade, are the ones that continue just creeping up, not really giving you much opportunity. Okay. All right, we're going to look at some of the Forex markets. We're not going to keep it too long this morning. EUR. And for those that had messaged me on Instagram, texted me, asking me how I'm doing, how my health is. As you know, about a month ago, I told you guys I had pinched my nerve, and I went to the event in Vegas and did that. But it's been a difficult month. About 98% better, 99. You can't really tell if anything happened to me, but I still feel it. I'm still going to physical therapy, strengthening up my arm, stretching out muscles, exercising. But everything's good on my end. Health is wealth. And I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. I want everybody to put that in your mind. Everybody think of that, because we're moving towards the I am convention in September. And you should be writing your I am statements. I am a success. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am classy. I am whatever you want to be, right? I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. All right? Think about that. Isn't that IML? IML is that, isn't it? If you look at Instagram, you see all the great leaders eating healthy, cleaner lives, exercising. I am healthy. People listening to the Napoleon Hills and the Jim Rohns and the Les Browns and all the great speakers out there, the Alex Mortons and David Immonitiers and Yvonne's and Jason's and all that. I am wise. And of course, trading. I am wealthy. So you got I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. And if you could, go on Instagram, tag me, put in your I am statement, put it out there, okay? And another thing, I'm 1,000 people away from 100,000 followers. So on that Instagram. So let's look at the markets. Okay. EUR, USD. That's a weekly chart. Okay. We discussed the market does have the potential overall to get back down to the middle. Right now, it's right there. If you look at that prior range low, right in here, the market broke below it as testing right there. Right there. Of course it's testing right there. You make life difficult for us, right? It's like, where you want to trade? Right there. Okay. So we could see the market did break on the weekly chart and then break back above that. Let's change this to a daily chart real quick and we'll break it down piece by piece. Okay. What I like that I'm looking at, this is based on the close of Friday. What I like, what I'm looking at, is the market trying to put in a higher low, and here is that line in the sand. It's actually right here. Right here is the line in the sand. My thinking is if the market can hold this area. We were looking at this the other day, remember, last week? And we said if the market can break down there, there's a chance that this can continue to fly down and give us opportunities to the sell side. But we got to keep an eye on this area. So, of course, it broke down for 1.5 days and came back up. Doesn't really justify a big move to the downside. You know, a poke down and above doesn't give us anything. What this is telling us right now is potentially the market is trying to hold this area and coming back above here. This is something I've always loved. Let me show you. Be like a baseball announcer. And Chris Terry's up to bat with his arrow. Okay, here we go, right? Straight down. It's what they call a fake out breakout, okay? A fake out breakout, meaning the market fakes out to the downside and comes back into the range. So a lot of times you're going to get that market breaks out of a range, fakes it, and drives back up into the range. Let me give you one little example, right? Here was your range low. Oops. Okay, here was your range low. You guys obviously can see this because I'm drawing it out, but you can see the market did a fake out to the downside, right? Fake out to the downside and breakout, fake out, breakout, and then rough right back up. And you see this time and time again where the market does that. That's what happens in trading ranges. That's exactly what happens all the time. So if history has told us anything, is that when the market trades outside of a range and cannot get going to one side, it'll be much stronger potentially to the opposite side. Same thing up here. You see this? Market broke out of a range, couldn't get going, and drove back down. So this possibly, since it's been a weeks and weeks and weeks at range lows, now let's keep an eye on this. I have no problem if this market really wants to hold in there. I'm not talking about the market opening and driving down. I'm talking you want to sit, you want to watch this when the market's open. I can't predict how the market's going to open or flush or not. But I do want you to keep the bigger picture in mind that if the shorter time frames are showing any kind of a test down, they want to hold to show respect to this area. If I was you, and you probably thank the good Lord I'm not, right? Like if you and me, you don't want to be Chris Terry because you'll be here screaming and yelling at the microphone. I did a nice seminar this morning, webinar for a whole group in Austria that just came in. Not Australia, Austria. Man, that was fun. It was earlier this morning, giving them some love. So I've been amped up since I woke up this morning. That's right, the grindingest CEO in the world. So if I was you, I would take notes and I would mark these areas right here. And that's the area you want to see if the market can hold. If it starts to go in this direction, work the buy side. Chris, what do you mean by work the buy side? It means buy. It means get in there and trade and look for opportunity to put a small risk and try to get in the market in the direction. If it's to hold, get in the market. Don't just arbitrarily buy blindly, but you want to work a trade. So keep an eye on this whole area, and if the market starts to turn back up, you want in. Like Frank White in The King of New York, he goes, if a dime bag is sold in the park, I want in. If there's a trade going on, I want in. See what I'm saying? That's where you got to be. And yes, I am a little bit colorful. Write that fun. GBP/USD. Now, this market right here jumped up pretty well. It didn't do anything. It did it. Okay. There it goes. It jumped up pretty hard. Thus, we're going to look for any move back down. Same thing. We looked at this last week, that to watch this area, okay, to watch this area, same thing. Broke down and we had the same thinking. If the market breaks down, continue to watch this, look for opportunity. If it shorts back above, all bets are off to the upside. Now I want to show you something in terms of a triangle pattern. So you got your triangle there, and you got your triangle here. Ay, 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 and I'm not Popeye the Sailor Man. but I do eat my spinach. Okay, so it's funny. Popeye had spinach and he has girl olive oil, spinach and olive oil, a little garlic. The guy's got a meal. So look right here. Market does this, gives you these multiple data points, breaks down, fake out to the downside, back up, and through the equilibrium point. You see that? Right to this middle point and all off to the races. So there's a lot to be said by faking out to one side and driving it back to the other side. You have to think of this right here. Market breaks down. Everybody thinks it's going down forever. And market turns and shifts the other way. Again, I'm not with you guys, but as we said last week, if the market breaks down and starts to show some patterns, work that sell side. We want to work it. If it comes back above here, go the other way. That's just the way it's going to be, right? Fake out, breakout. It's big, big, big in the markets. It's a big deal and something you should keep an eye on. Now, how are you going to trade this market right here? Well, that's the daily chart. It's showing impulse to the upside. And we just want to look at, let me make this a weekly chart. Weekly chart. Okay. It looks like, I'm sure everybody saw this, right? Chris, that's an inverted head and shoulders. Okay. Okay, I see you over there, inverted head and shoulders. I see you. I'm not mad at you. Okay? I'm not mad at you. Here's the neckline. Okay, that's called the neckline. So, inverted head and shoulder. Shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline. At some point, this is the level that you really want to watch. So, for now, on a short-term basis, what do we have to work with? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. Ooh, the hourly chart. A lot of impulse, a lot of action to the upside. Okay, so what I like to do, and we don't know how this market's going to open, obviously. It may jump up early, it may flush down a little bit, but you definitely want to keep an eye on something like this. That wherever this market stock, oops, all right, I'm caught up in harmonic hell over here. A to B, C, D. Christopher Terry, fumbling on the charts. 5-yard penalty for Christopher Terry for fumbling on the charts. Hey, you know what? We don't need to watch football. This is our Super Bowl. Okay, at some point, the market will retrace down. I could have just said this by pointing it out, but I want the chart out to be like, relevant. So at some point, the market will retrace again, and if you start getting any kind of moves back to the downside, just take an equal line of what you got there. And what I do is this. I take a line, right? I take a line. I do like this. And basically just this. So whenever the market does retrace, you take that, you throw some Fibonacci levels. A lot of times you get an equal type of response the other way as you did here. As you see here, market swings down, swing. These lines right here probably all relate to one another. So markets like to relate to one another. So it already moved X many pips. You may get that again. For now, there is no immediate play that I see. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. Okay. I would not be selling this market. I'd wait for an opportunity for this market to come down. Look at the buy side. As you can see, there's lots of data here that the market can find some support. So I keep looking here. So even if the market opens, comes up a bit, any pullback down equal to the length of this, you may get yourself a little trade out of it. Right now, the market had such a strong jump up. I don't particularly see any opportunity that we want to jump in the markets. I like the euro a lot better. But on a bigger picture scale, let's take a look at the weekly as we discussed. Potential for an inverted head and shoulders. That means that a breakout above this weekly line here can lead to a much greater move. So I would, again, if I was you, and you probably thank the good Lord I'm not, I would be looking for something like this long term. So if you want to look at the long term side with a little bit more risk, any pullbacks now, you want to look at the buy side. You want to work this side until it goes a lot higher. You may get a lot of whip back and forth, but this looks pretty good in here. This looks good. It took out multiple weeks of 3 weeks of downside, and now we're swing up. I like that. That's telling us something. That's telling us that the market has shifted, and you want to work on the buy side. So those that play the long-term game or longer-term game, I would really consider keeping an eye on that market. Okay? Let me take a moment here. Let me just take a moment. Oh, we have a good group of people in today. That's great. Let everybody know about our morning masteries. Let the world know. I'm not sure if we're going to keep it this early in the morning, because I know people are in church and stuff, and I know it's a little bit difficult for many people to watch the class. So either I change it, or what we're going to end up doing is just, which we're doing it, we send the recording out. So what we're going to figure something out. Okay, I don't know what the heck we were doing here, but let's just, oops, I didn't want to do that. How's that? Okay, let's look. Daily chart of the Aussie. Same thing as the USD, or USD. Same principle. Same principle here as the AUD USD. Same principle. You can see how the market faked out. It's holding, and I'm not against. Again, should we start to hold early in the session and it starts to turn up, I'm not against going up on the buy side and playing this to the long side. We showed this last week that this is the area that the market has to hold. Nothing has changed. We look at the short-term time frame right here. Oh, this is a good chart. Good chart. So looking at the market profile here is where the market tested and fell back. You can see that. And here is where the market should stay above. So any kind of jibber jabber at this point, any kind of testing down at this point, I'd be looking at this area as a support area. So any test down, this is a very, very good support area. You put your risk below here, looking for this market to get above this line at some point. This is where we want to get above. That's a big area. So any pullback down in the Australian dollar, you want to see how it holds. I mean, if the market opens and does this, please don't get on my Instagram and, Chris, you called it wrong. It's not that I called it wrong. I'm giving my analysis before the market opens. We don't know what's going to happen, but at least we have a plan. If you don't have a plan to win, you have a plan to fail. So, we're giving some sort of plan here. But keep an eye on this area. Any little pullbacks this morning, any strength, you want to keep looking to the upside with this. Right now, on the major level, as you know, market's held, taken back above that line, and right here, okay? So knowing that the euro's holding, knowing that GBP is holding, no reason Australian dollar can't hold and turn up also. Makes sense? Sure, it makes sense. Okay, I'm a makes sense type of guy. Let me just, all my people making money, drinking water. And so far, we went over a couple of markets. I may go over maybe 2 or 3 more, get through some Bitcoin, and we'll call it a day. Just want to thank everybody for coming on our morning mastery. Just let the world know what we're doing. You can invite guests for free. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Invite who you want on the call. It's free. Okay. So if you're an IBO or your customer, you want to share with somebody, bring them here. And they get to see my antics. They get to hear about my moth bites. They get to hear everything. Anyway, let me get back to the video. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. I don't really see anything here. We talked about last week. We talked about last week that overall this market has been correcting in here, and potentially we could have a move to the downside. I'm still in that belief that the market still, you have risk here. I'm still in the belief that now that the market is below this line here, that's an ugly line. Let's get rid of that line. Now that the market is below this line right here, I'm still under the belief that we can start to work a bit lower. Keep an eye out down here. I would look at the market on the sell side, keeping your risk up here, if anything. All right. This line, this right here, was a very, very strong bar to the downside. And again, when the market opens tonight, yeah, remember Rod Stewart? Any maybe retracements up, you want to just see how it holds. If it starts to flush down and give some bounces, work the sell side. Markets normally, and I know, when you look at some of the presentations, when you look at books, all these pretty lines, like the market's going to do this, and then it's going to do this, and then it's going to do that, and it's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, then it's going to do this, and then it's going to do this, and then it's going to do that, then it's going to do this, and that's not realistic. That's a pretty picture. Okay, that's just a pretty picture. And too many people take these pretty pictures literal, and they try to draw out every freaking line that is on the chart or plans to be on the chart. Quite honestly, one swing at a time, one play at a time. I don't see Elliott Wave in here. Do you see Elliott Wave in there? No. So one swing at a time, one play at a time. Where's the market's next play? Don't draw out so much that you get caught up in your own BS, quite honestly. Stay in the moment, stay focused on the markets, look at your data points, swing high, swing low. So if the market trades up, we want to see how it relates to this point. If it tests down, we want to see how it relates to this point. Overall, the market's back below a particular pivot, which is this is called a pivot. It's back below it, and let's see if it could stay below it. Right now, I have no big play, other than the fact is I feel since the other markets can go up, this can kind of take a bit of a nosedive. Okay. So here we were looking at a retracement up for a move back down. Okay, so we were looking at that. It was around here last week. We felt we can get a move up. We felt that this is resistance. We felt that this was a swing high to risk against, and I'm still in that game. So I'm still on the side where I figured this market can go a lot lower. Take a look at the daily chart. Okay, this market is rolling over. It's been telling us it's rolling over for the past week and a half. This whole area was resistance. We talked about it, and I'm still in that game of this market can go lower. Okay. Got a nice break to the downside, nice retracement up, double top. Now we're going lower. Any bounces up, I would still look at the sell side. I would not worry about the buy side just yet, even though market could find support and test up. I still feel this market has a lot of energy to the downside. So, and that's just reverse what's been going on with the EUR, with the GBP, and everything else. And I'm going to sit back for a moment, drink some water. Okay, let me just check my phone, make sure everything's okay here. No messages, nobody freaking out on me this morning. Good. Okay, nice. 1,000 people. 1,000 of us on this morning. That's not bad. Normally, when we did the night sessions, we'd have anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000, and that's what I'm kind of contemplating. Should we do it at night to bring everybody in together, or should we do it here and then have replays going on later on in the evening? So I'll kick that around. But right now, I'm enjoying the morning mastery. I think it works for me, and if it works for Chris Terry, I'm good with that, right? So let's change to Bitcoin, and we're going to call it a wrap. Oh, actually, no. Let's look at XAU. Sorry about that. Those AU. Gold. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Gold. So we looked at gold the last time. That the market has this whole range in here. A lot of support down in here. A lot of little, what they call divergences down in here. I remember this. Okay. And this market feels like it just wants to take off to the upside. It just feels that we had a nice big move up. And yes, I wasn't knocking the Elliott wave. Elliott wave does work, and I'll give you some a prime example. Elliott wave is great. I was not knocking it because I don't want to hear somebody say, Christopher Terry said. Okay? And you can see it's not pretty, right? You don't get the pretty waves. This technically didn't come down as deep, but the fact is you had multiple waves up, a nice 5-wave up, and you had a nice correction down where this market should try to work its way higher. I'm just saying is don't try to draw out every chart as a pretty picture because you're going to miss the point, all right? You miss the point of what they call price action. Right now, I'm liking the way this market has been holding. I'm still a fan to the upside on the gold market. Let me just see here. I'm a fan of the market to the gold. I'm still a fan to the gold, to the upside in the gold market. 1378 in the spot market is the level to get above. That's your major level to get above. You can see all this data down here. But let me relate this to something. Watch. Okay? Watch. Sometimes you find elongated sideways lines, and when you're not looking, the markets make the major move. So whenever you see these sideways lines, these ranges, you always want to keep a point to watch range highs and range lows, because they just like markets move so quickly, you don't even get a chance to catch it. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin market. Let's see what we got going on here. I'll start with a daily chart. Okay. So Bitcoin, and I'm using Bitfinex here, for example. It doesn't matter what market you use, what exchange. It could be Coinbase. It doesn't matter. The fact is, the chart is chart. Here's the middle of the chart. Coinbase may be different. Binance, all these other ones may be different. But Bitfinex, we're on the chart. This is 64.66. So what this looks like to me, this is just a market that here was that impulse, and you had a rising channel. I was on with a couple of the educators the other day, the Spanish educators, and I was literally on the phone with them. It was Chris Nadell and Teo Zadunga, and oh gosh, there was like several guys on the phone with me, and I was showing them that this is a market you want to be on the buy side with. And I'm a fan of the buy side. I'm a fan that this market's going a lot higher. Crypto Picasso, who does swipe coin, has made 21,000 or 22,000 pips. And that's like enormous amount of money, like enormous amount of profits in the past year. So if you haven't looked at swipe coin, get on it. Watch our crypto classes. Don't miss them. This is the market you want to be in. This is a very high volatile market now. It's a very exciting market. And this is now in a bull phase. This market has come out of the bear phase that it was in for months and months and months and months and months and months. Remember we talked about, all right, these equilibrium points. Markets come into these equilibrium points, and once they break out, they're not going to give you the pretty patterns. They're just going to go. And, you always got to watch swing highs and swing lows. This market right here is green light go right now. Nothing saying down, nothing saying other than the market's going up. So pullbacks down. You want to look at the buy side of Bitcoin. I know there's some brokers you could trade Bitcoin on leverage. I do the same thing for myself. I enjoy it. I have fun with it. And you also have Bitcoin you can do on the investment side. You can do all sorts of stuff with Bitcoin. But I like this market to go a lot higher. And any pullbacks down, you want to keep looking. So if you look here on a daily chart, you can see right here, swing, right? Swing. Basically the same thing. If the markets pull back like that again, you keep buying. This whole pullback should be supportive and a continued move higher, okay? And I know a lot of people look at this and say, if you put the two trend lines together, the market will hold here, and then they draw a line this way, and it goes this way, and then you get the guys who on these, I look at TradingView, and you got the, they're geniuses there, and they all draw stuff like that. Okay? Trust me, I see whoops. If you look at TradingView, this is some of the experts. You're wondering, man, half them looking up, half them looking down. They all draw these pretty lines, and nothing works out. One swing at a time. Pull back down, you look at support. That's it. Pull back down, you look at support. Don't make it a big deal. I like the buy side only because we have strong impulse to the upside. A lot of people in the market's buying. A lot of big, what they call whales, have come into the market. Geez, this thing doesn't stop. Okay. Chris Terry says smile. Chris Terry says smile. And let's look at oils. Crude oil. Let's take a look at oil. Okay. So those that trade oils, maybe on a CFD, or if you trade the futures. Okay, we broke down below that 618. Any tests up, any moves back up, I would look at the sell side, but there's nothing right here, so I'm not going to make a big deal about oil today. There's nothing to give you, all right, other than the fact that it looks like it could roll over. Where's Christopher Terry? Hold on one second, okay? Hold on one second. So, as we started our day, we're going to end it. For those that were late, you missed it. We're going to do it again. We're going to say good day. Have yourself an amazing, amazing week. Oh, there's the guy. Yeah, sure you are. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop lying.
Shit stink, pink gators, my Detroit players, Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right.
Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you next week on the Market Master Trouble World. I'm Markets Live. Market Master is the best one in the fight. Be here next week.
Don't listen.
Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch. Stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC easily.
Take that.
Easily. Recently, niggas frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace. Keep my peace. Cubans with the G.